Not prepared for this, but I think that it says that we're live. All right, let's go. Hey, everybody, Nate Byer, GX3 Media. Welcome to another edition of a late night photo flip because it is late, it is night, and we have photos to flip. If we don't flip them today, we're never going to get through them. Spring sports have started, and today, well, not just today, this week we have had nothing but good weather. Last week, not so much. This week, very good weather, which means we've got some photos to flip. You can't see what I'm flipping though unless I share my screen. So let's start here. All right. Let's just share the entire screen. Why the heck not? My little head's going to be down here, and there we go. Let's keep going here. All right. Tuesday. On Tuesday, Logan went and watched Walk Center baseball and softball in Cashton. I mean, Tuesday was a great day. Everything that I shot, I had 7 events of my own. Everything I shot just sung. The sunshine made everything worth it. I had some college baseball, some college softball. I'll try to get to those folders when we get there. She took in these couple of games because it was easy for her. I thought honestly the softball game was the big get for us because I thought it was going to be a very competitive game for both teams. It kind of turned out not to maybe be that way in terms of the score, but regardless, it's good for us to see Wani walk. It's harder for us to see them often. This was it was an easy layup if she was willing to do it. So I was all for it. Anyways, again, I haven't seen a lot of these photos. I used a couple today in the Hillsborough Century Enterprise, but for the most part, I haven't seen these. So the baseball field in Cashton sets up all the right for photos, afternoon photos. The batters are lit up, which is nice. The pitcher, however, can get a little shady depending on, if they're right-handed, left-handed, whatever. I think the softball field is a little bit better and also a little bit worse in certain situations. Yeah, this red, white, and blue that's on the middle of those jerseys. Again, if you ever listen to me talk about jerseys and jersey design, I just don't think that I have no problem with an American flag on the jersey, but that swatch across the front drives me a little bonkers. It just breaks the branding too much for me. It feels a little trite if I'm going to be picky about it. Anyways, hopefully you guys were able to get outside and see something outside. It just again, when the weather's good, we got to go. Right now, I'm running on mental and physical fumes. I feel like newspaper wise, we've had a couple of gigantic stories from our area fall into our lap that I've been trying to coordinate multiple people on to make sure that we have humans covering events in real space, real time, trying to make sure that we have an ability to get quality photographs. Um, and I'm trying to force myself to trust others to do the job. And that's really tough. Anyways, mentally, physically, I'm beaten up because of that. Yesterday was Tuesday, the 22nd of April. I'm sorry, no, the 21st, 21st. It was a beautiful day, but I was outside for 8 or 9 hours. It's a lot of sunshine when you just haven't been outside that much. This is where the spring season in general just kind of beats me up is because we are outside a lot. We're not really acclimated to it. The sun and the wind just kick you in the head. They really do. I had a great day, don't get me wrong. I love my outside time. Today I spent a couple hours watching golf. Mississippi Valley Conference Golf happened today, and because Wednesdays are pretty empty days, I try to make those things happen. So, um, speaking of which, I think we actually had some softball today that I didn't attempt. That was dumb. That was poor planning on my part. Anyways, we do a lot of things. You know, it's just hard to keep up with schedules. There's a lot. My brain has been preoccupied with um, NFL draft stuff because we have some local ties there. We've got Major League Baseball stuff because we've got some local ties there, and very local and important for us. Well, for at least one of our newspapers. Um, those are big things, and we need to make sure that they get covered. So I've been stressed about that for most of the week. Stretch. What a stretch. I also haven't done a lot video wise, and I kind of owe it to everybody to try to keep doing this when I can. If I haven't said it before, I'll say it now. Like me going through these late night photo flips, as much as I do want to do something different with our podcast stuff, with our YouTube channel. Right now, this is about the limit of what I'm able to do, simply because I just can't get enough time to do some of the other stuff. Spring is just a nightmare. As much as I love being outside, it's just like I said, yesterday noon till 9, I was outside shooting things. We had a great time doing it, but that's a lot of that's a lot of road time. Hey, we got through this. That's one down. Nice job. Let's pick something today. Let's see how many of these have loaded properly. They golfed at Drugan's today in Holman. A shot again. They've got this nice line of pines that I always love shooting with and around. It just provides something through. And for me, shooting golf, when I can shoot through things, I can really make some interesting compositions. So what you're seeing here are some of my wide shots. I don't always use a lot of wide shots, but when I do, I think that they're effective. Um, it, Again, it's just a different way to see. So this is not a wide shot. It looks wide because I'm not close to the subjects, but it is technically not a wide shot. It's just presented that way. Um, I like to look through things. What can we do by looking through things? Um, and especially in golf, can that here's what I'm doing. With golf, I'm sharing the course, at least a piece of the course, because we're looking through trees, and that means that there are trees there. For the courses that don't have tree lines, oh, I hate them. Hate them so much. I need trees, I want hills, I want things to look around, I want things to look over, I wanna be able to look under some things. That's kind of my hope and goal always. I love shooting golf. If I've never talked about golf with you before, I will talk about it now. Um, I have never golfed a day in my life. I've never golfed a hole in my life. I love watching golf. It is a very, very relaxing affair, at least for me it is. Um, from On the photographic side, it's not easy. Like, it's kind of easy, but on the other hand, like, even look at this hole. I'm looking one way, but then I've got to shift myself to put myself in a position to be in front of the athlete. Um, and for this hole, I remember just working my way around the hole, so I can do my best to try to see all 3 golfers in this group. What I love about golf, this is an example. I use a lot of headshots or a lot of non-action shots, headshots. These types of photos can still tell stories, and there is a place for them when telling golf stories. And I do think that's kind of the fun of golf. I get a lot of these with baseball and softball as well. And I would say the same thing. They work. They can help tell stories. I've done design builds where I've relied on these types of images, just the headshots, not so much the action, um, because a layout calls for it. I mean, quite honestly, if you see, the same again, let's look at these, the same swinging shots, it gets old, it gets boring, it's repetitive. We have to create some variety. That's why I call it the stoic stare. Well, actually, I don't really call it that. I call it that now, as of 10:26 p.m. The stoic stare. You get a lot of these in golf as your athlete is looking. I wish that ball was just a little lower. As the athlete is looking, as the athlete is searching for the pin, for their ball, looking off into the horizon, stoic stare. It's really good, really good. I got a little mixed up on the course layout, so I kind of shot myself in the foot to start with today. But we righted the ship and figured it out. I had about 2 hours to work. I think I used most of that time. I know I didn't get there's no way I got even close to maybe half the groups at best. Um, and it's unfortunate, but on the other hand, the MVC golfers, I end up seeing more than any other golf group. So if I see half today and half next week, guess what? 2 halves make a whole. So, um, Drugans is just stretched out. So I'm glad that most of the kids I was trying to find were on the front 9. Going to that back 9 way up on, is it, 14, 15 that are way up on the hill, that's tough. That's a long walk. That's a lot of wasted time walking when I have to be pretty efficient with my minutes and my steps. So here, this what I'm where I'm shooting here, we see that we've got this fuzzy green thing. I'm slightly in front of the golfer. I'm slightly down a hill, stepping on some, I don't know, there are a bunch of broken reeds and other things. I went barefoot today, and all that stuff was not good for my toes or my heels or any part of my foot. But I like the shot because, again, I'm using the course, I'm using the topography to help frame my subject. Speaking of framing subjects, we're going to talk about that when we get to our college baseball. We might not get to all the college baseball stuff from yesterday, but what I do want to get through a situation that I ran into yesterday because, well, I'll explain it when I get there. Well, hopefully, I remember to get there. Again, I love shooting golf. It's just like I said, it just provides opportunities that other sports can't give us. Got really lucky there and here, I believe, where the ball, after chipping onto the green, the ball kind of sat right in front of the golfer. Now that's, I position myself. That's by design. Same thing with this. This positioning is by design. I'm trying to frame our golfer with the golf bags. All right. That changes. That gives us a little context. Oh God. All right. Well, I broke that. So let's try. Where did we go? Here we go. Oh, we have anybody watching, right? Nobody's watching? Good. Okay. So somebody's just gonna watch this later and realize I'm just talking into the space. Um, it's good to get back out here and to try to get on the mic a little bit and kind of explain. I mean, I never meant for this to be a photograph design um, cast exclusively, but like I said, this is about all I have time for. It's the easiest thing for me to get through, and I do think it kinda shares some of the behind the scenes of what we try to do with GX3 Media, and just generally speaking, as sports photographers. It's something that I don't think we really have. I mean, there's plenty of this on the internet, I know that. We don't have it around here locally, and my perspectives are different than others. When you're shooting sports as often as I am and have, you come up with some ideas of how to do things that maybe are good, maybe are bad. Am I getting side-eyed there? Very classic golf stance. Now here's something that when I shot this, the first thing that popped in my head was, "Hey, I think that would make a really great color pop square." Now, if you guys haven't seen, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I've been dabbling a little bit because I need to do some creative things. One of the creative things, I think I started it last week with maybe the turbo baseball on Friday. I had this idea just to do these weird color pop squares. Um, Once we get through this gallery, and we're almost done with this, so, then we can move on, I can talk about that. These Color Pop squares were something that just from a design perspective were kinda fun to do. I'll talk about it once we get there. Let's wrap this up because, again, I know that, we're just about done with this meat, and then we can move on to some bigger fish or other fish. And then I also just have today's culling done. There we go. Wednesday's all done. All right, let's go look at some color pops. Let's go look at our most recent set. It was from last night's between Logan and Alaska. Color pops. So basically, what it is a solid poppy, bubblegummy color um, with a black and white formatted image on top. It's some sort of cutout thing. Okay. This, like I said, this is the most recent set. I hadn't tried it with soccer before. Now, some of our black and whites might feel a little rough, but I actually do think that's kind of part of what we're trying to do with it. If I wanted to push this a little bit more, I would add. Uh, I think adding some noise to this to the entire thing or all the color spaces, adding a little noise to the red and some noise to our subject, I think would make a big difference. Anyways, where did these come from? Well, let's go look at our Viterbo set because I really do like that original Viterbo set. That would be from, there we go. I wanted to do something with this image in particular because uh, when I saw them play on Friday, yeah, they lost pretty big in their first game, but I still did get this nice celebration at second base. I don't need to see all the detail in the image. Again, I want it to feel a certain way. If you look at, gosh, I wish I remembered what, and maybe it's multiple sets. Again, I took this from vintage baseball cards. They would have a secondary image that was like a black and white image on like a circular color field. And the color field, there was no gradient. It was simply a color. And it wasn't the team color most of the time. It was some other color. So that's what I really, really wanted to play with. I wanted to see how that would translate. Now I went with a square instead of a circle. I think this could be interesting as a circle as well. Maybe I should try that next. What I really like about this, let's see here. Where's the Facebook page? Okay. I really love how it sets up on our Facebook page. I think that's the big thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, if you're following us on Instagram, you're not going to see it that same way. That's okay. Let's see what's our next one. I think I went through Sparta Logan softball. No, I did, but I didn't. So let's flip through this. Let's see what we can get done here. Logan did some renovations on their field. It is very nice, but it is impossible to shoot. The fence is too tall. It's too long. The sight lines are impossible to look through. That there are muscles there. Cool. This was an interesting ball game. I saw like an inning of this game at most. I saw a wild, controversial play. This was a controversial play where I think they thought she was out. She might have been. They all left the field. They were excited. And then all of a sudden, yeah, Sparta coach starts yelling. The kid's still on base. And then she runs home to score a run. Officials talk about it. And it took a while. And what the determination was that they didn't make a call, so the play wasn't over, and the run scored, and the game was tied. So it should be 4-4 in the fourth. It doesn't really matter. The next batter got out, so then the inning was over. Logan went out and scored pretty much right away in the must be the bottom of the fourth then. Um, Sparta ended up winning the ball game. So all things considered, the controversial play probably didn't mean much. It probably shook out the right way in the end. Yes, goofing for the camera. It happens. I don't encourage it, but it does. It does happen. And the Sparta girls are really good about trying to goof off for the camera. Yeah, I'm way down the baseline. I maybe am shooting through the fence. Now, granted, I am able to because the fencing is coated, so it doesn't reflect light. That actually was, I don't know why and how they did that, but that was a great move. Interesting photo if we didn't have run a player in the foreground. I know that we're missing the catch, but I still think it's an interesting photo, the way that it's stretching out the fingers of the glove. Okay, there's an overthrow here. I'm limited. Yeah, I'm definitely shooting through the fence at this point in time because then I'm trying to get celebration happening here. This is good celebration, by the way. You don't always get that in softball or baseball. And when you get it, I want it. And I want it in spades. That face mask is huge. So, yes, again, we did what we could. I was just trying to keep things moving. We were just trying to knock out a bunch of events yesterday. Oh, this is great framing. I like that. Wish it was a little tighter, but that's still pretty good. Very happy with that shot. I think if anything, it's hard to work when I'm trying to shoot through the fence. I feel like such a chump trying to shoot through the fence. That's why I just think we need to bring back media boxes so those are available. Oh, yeah, I wish I had this. I bel There was a ground ball to short, and the Logan girl collided with the Sparta shortstop, knocked her over. I really wish I had the collision. It was a pretty solid hit. But yeah, there's just not a lot of room at Logan to actually work for somebody like me. I don't really wanna be in front of fans, especially when they're shooting down the baselines and they were down the first baseline. Like where this guy is here, I can shoot through kind of, but I'm shooting into the sun, so the integrity of the image is compromised because of that. Now you're gonna see I did it down the first baseline with actually like a fair amount of success, but that's also because I have the sun behind me instead of shooting through the chain link into the sun. Again, that is it just doesn't work. Basically, what I want, here's what I want. I want to take something and cut some of that chain link away, put up some netting, so when you have somebody like me, like the news stations show up, they have a place where they can shoot. I've seen it done. That type of a setup is a great setup. And I do think it's a pretty simple setup that is very effective that can help a lot of folks out. Or we need to cut the fences down so the fences aren't 8 feet tall. I'm not dragging a 10-foot ladder in any car I have. Yes, I understand I'm complaining. These are first world problems. These are really media only problems. I'm not concerned. In this day and age, when we have more and more people trying to stream, trying to cover, trying to do media differently, we have to help them out somehow. And we don't think about that when we design baseball, softball fields. It's definitely not a consideration. And maybe that falls on me to some extent when I hear that they're going to build or redo a field. Maybe I need to step up and say something. Hey, what are you doing for media access? How are we going to keep that in mind? All right. West Salem tries it with, I think they have this, it's supposed to be some sort of, it's not a party deck, but people treat it like that. The problem is you are so far behind the batter, you can't see the batter. So it's really not a good space, in my opinion. You need to be in front of the batter more. So we are at Viterbo softball earlier in the day. This is my second event of the day. I am shooting under the right field fence. The thing is heaved, so there's like 6, 8 inches of space. Balls can get under there super easily. But it gives me a great opportunity to shoot underneath. Now, if I had more time, I do think they might have well, no, they're done with home games, aren't they? I've spent some time just out there shooting under the fence for like a half inning, whole inning. various lengths of time, and I've come up with some cool stuff in the past. But talk about emotion, again, you don't get it a lot, but at the collegiate level, I think the girls understand a little bit better, and again, they're definitely choosing the lifestyle, so they should celebrate things. And I kinda had a feeling because our left fielder was yelling stuff and pretty vocal. So 3rd out, I think it was a fly ball or maybe it was a ground or whatever. Good reaction, and it's just so hard to come by good reaction unless you're getting home runs maybe if there are certain plays, um, you know, 3rd out of an inning, called strike, yeah, that's reason to celebrate. I shot this, entire game, it looks like, with the straight 400. That is a big giant lens. It is hard. Oh, I thought that one turned out, and it did not. That was a nice home run ball. Didn't get much out of it. Whoops. That's one of the downsides of shooting with that 400. You are limited. Things get too close in a hurry, and how do you deal with it? That's interesting action. I like that. The one thing about Viterbo softball that I felt bad about this year, I saw the same girl pitch all 3 times I showed up for games. Baseball, I got baseball just the nature of the beast is you just have different pitchers all the time. Last Friday, the Viterbo kids got banged around, I think, was it 22-1? And they just kept throwing different dudes in. On the one hand, it's bad. On the other hand, I got to see a lot of dudes throw. That's cool. Stayed for another game. I saw some other kids throw today. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to go look at our outfield photos. Oh, I deleted a photo that was good. I'm gonna have to go find it in the trash bin. What was the number? 6441. So when I make stupid mistakes like that, we have to go to the recycling bin. Let's take a look. Let's take 6442. Let's restore it. I do think that was worth saving. I remember getting this because there's a point, there's a wink. I didn't see the wink before. That's good. That's very subtle. Okay. Are we close to actually, I think we are. Let's just how long is our I just want to be aware of how long is streaming going. A stream tab. There we go. Somewhere it tells me how long we've been going. 27 minutes. All right, let's flip through this. Yep, yep, yep. Good. I like these. I like these types of photos. They're study the bat, look at the bat, focus. I like those. Again, baseball and softball offer these really quiet moments that are super powerful. And I think that's something that, like, again, you can find that in other sports. Maybe not basketball. Basketball, it's harder for whatever reason. Volleyball, it's harder to find those moments. But baseball, softball, oh, those moments are a dime a dozen, and I love them. Almost every single one. Trying to get our signaling. Nah, that doesn't. This girl, I think, got hit her first. She got hit by a pitch at her first 2 at bats, if I remember correctly. Was talking to a parent, a Mountain Mary parent, and he said that they were kind of low on numbers. So there were a couple of girls that were soccer players that had never played softball before, but came out just to make sure that they could field the team. That's bad on ball. I think it's a pop fly. It doesn't matter to me. It looks cool. I am shooting from center field with the straight 400 here. The center field shot looks great almost every time because you're in front of the action. For anybody out there that wants to learn from that wants to learn something about sports photography, you have to put yourself in front of the action, or it doesn't really matter. I mean, sometimes you can make it. Sometimes you get lucky. Look at that. That's definitely a bat on ball. That's a great strike. I'm keeping all of those. Those are good. A little late on the swing on my part. And because I hadn't seen a lot of pitchers, I made a point to go watch the bullpen. Now, there are other girls that had warmed up earlier that I skipped for whatever reason. I wasn't in the right spot. But I didn't want to do that all day. Yeah, a little overexposed all the way through. Let's see here. Okay. Good. Viterbo softball's done. Nice job. Let's go Viterbo baseball. Let's go. Oh, we're gonna start with the wide stuff right away. Roll over. Oh yeah. Okay. 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 Here's what we're gonna do. So I'm in center field. I am climbing in our row of trees that are out in center field. I've done this over the course of the past 15 years. Every couple of years, I remind myself to take the ladder out to center field. It's a long walk. Find a way to step in some nature. Um, I found a nice spot, and why I'm doing this, I'm trying to showcase our field, but differently. Again, it's dugouts, it's this hill, it's all the cars. Again, college sports, but even at the high school level, you want to play up your facilities because if your facilities are garbage, nobody wants nobody wants to be part of it. So this is I have the camera pulled back, so I am framing things. I was moving some branches around and holding a camera a little bit, but when you poke out from all the foliage, this is just what it looks like. And it doesn't feel again, it doesn't feel quite as special, I don't think. Even having this foreground again, context matters. Having material really sets the scene. So from even just a perspective of just composition, you have to understand some of these tricks if you're trying to make some of your photos look more interesting. I remember reading out of a magazine was look under, on top, below, under and below this. Again, look at it through something. Again, just change your perspective. Change your perspective. And that was so those weren't the winners though. This is the last series of those. The camera rolled over, just like your odometer. If you look at your files that come off your camera, there's a file number. I roll it over almost every other week. So if you can see my file number, it's 0010 in the whatever, the new filing system. All right. So here's what I tried to do at the very end is I tried to force this down into a corner. Again, if you look at your rule of thirds, I put this in the lower right hand third. Yeah, this isn't set up. I typically will not touch anything. I will not turn balls over. I will not move bats if I can help it. I want to find things as they are. That's just, I think, part of the photojournalism side of what I do. Don't touch it. That's artificially changing the objects, and I can't bring myself to do that. But this is how the batting helmet cube was set up, and it was really cool. I love this. So I know I took a number of photos this way, and then this is the wide lens, and then I used a uh, the telephoto later to get something that wasn't as skewed, let's say. So yeah, you've got one NAI poking up here. I don't want to do anything with that. I don't want to rotate it. I don't want to rotate the rest. So they all say NAI. I just want it as it is. That is again that I, anybody that tries to manipulate the photo, is it really the right? Is it really the photograph if you're manipulating it? You know, I guess that's just not how I'm trying to look at things. Oh, my head got in there. Good job. This was an interesting one because I think it was a prayer circle before the game. So I shot it this way, but I also shot it with the long glass. Let's go find the long glass photo just so we can compare. Um, Long glass. So I'm using a 100 to 500 here. I'm focused on the scoreboard. You can tell what the players are doing in the foreground. Again, this is composing a shot. Same thing, rule of thirds. Right third, that's where you find yourself reading the turbo baseball, but you have the dudes together. Again, this is good team stuff, but you have to have an eye for it. See, like I said, baseball gives you good headshots, right? Good headshots, good profiles, good portraits. And it's the little things. I try to keep my eyes open for things written. Dudes will write stuff on tape, wristbands, other things. I'm looking for details. I'm looking actively looking for details. And with Viterbo Baseball on Tuesday, I had time because I number one, they were my priority for about 2 hours, and I had time to look for these little details. I thought I'd find a little bit more. About 15 years ago, we had a softball group that kind of came through at Viterbo that number one, I was relatively close with. And number two, like they were pretty passionate about the sport and they were decent at the sport. And I remember finding, at least for one of the players, like stuff written inside the glove. Like she had a light colored slab of leather and she had messages written inside the glove. Other girls had messages written outside the glove or on the glove on the outer part. And I remember taking photographs of a lot of that stuff simply because those are those little in between moments that are so impactful. I also do think that's what helps separate me from other photographers because I'm able to find those because I'm searching for those, looking for those, and finding those little details instead of just looking at the big picture. And even here, like I was thinking about color pop the entire time as well. What can I do with some of these baseball dudes in color pop? Can I pull some of these guys out into their own space? And the answer is absolutely. And that 400 that I'm talking about, again, this is big 25-year-old chunk of metal and glass that I'm dragging around. What it does is it creates. Yeah, look at how everything melts away. It's a prime lens. So when it grabs something and focuses on something, everything else seems to melt away just a little bit more. It makes it really easy for, between that and the AI that selects the stuff in Photoshop, it makes it really easy to pick the actual subject out. And so building some of those color pops is, I'm not going to say easy. You've got to find the right images, but it's made it a little more convenient, let's say. And again, look at the bokeh here. I love how everything just melts. So even if coach isn't like super tack sharp, because he's really probably not, there is a little bit of an illusion because by contrast, and you know what? I know that there are apps that do that sort of thing for you. I know that there's some video that would make my background now right behind me all blurred out. It's just artificial, and quite honestly, I just don't think it looks good. Do it for real. Do it for real in camera. Don't let the robots do everything for you. There's a place for the robots. There really is. Okay. So let's how long have we gone? 38 minutes. Did we get through the Viterbo stuff here? Almost. 630 items. So we're gonna flip through this. We're gonna go back to our wide shots. We were here. We're gonna kick through this real fast. Again, you guys are just I'm just making content while I'm doing work. So we're just making two things, killing two stones with two birds. Really so I felt kind of bad for the Viterbo kids just because they've only had 3 home games, 3 home series or whatever. None of them have been on the home field until Tuesday. So that's why I'm also really glad I made the effort to get out there. I think a couple of years ago, I never saw him play at all because everything was on the road. I meant to go to a close game. I think they were supposed to play on my birthday, but I was sick and it got canceled because of weather. So I don't think I ever saw them that year. That was that, you know, I hate to say it, that ended a streak of like 20 years of seeing at least a single baseball game. So by these guys. But part of what I really like to be able to capture is for these guys, at least a home game, being at home. Look at that. There's nothing like being at home with the trees, with the bluff, even though the bluff is not grown in yet. Again, there's just nothing like that experience. And even though I think last week we were at Colton Park, that's a great place to shoot. For me, love shooting there. That's great. That's easy. It's not the same as having the home venue. So again, I'm contracted to do stuff with the Turbo. Um, I want to be able to give them photos of them being at their home field. There's certain things that you can play up. Like I said, I showed some atmosphere, some field conditions, that from a marketing perspective, that stuff is really good if you know how to use it. Um, but you got to use your own field. You can't use somebody else's field. That's not truthful and honest from at least a marketing perspective. It might look cool, but you have to be able to show prospective students where you or players, this is where we actually are playing. This is where you will play. Anyways, and like I said, we had a really good sunshine day. A lot of sunshine. A lot of sunshine. I'm pretty sure I'm sunburned because of it, at least a little bit. Everybody's giving me a hard time because I was wearing one of these GX3 Media hoodies. Um, Nate, isn't it too warm for a sweatshirt? And honestly, here's my response. Do I honestly dress for the right weather? Like, when have I ever dressed for the right weather? Yep, exactly. Anyways, yes, it's warm. We actually got new stuff. We've got new apparel ordered finally. We did that over the weekend. I think we blew off Saturday because of the weather. We stayed, worked in one of our offices, and Logan did the hard work of actually sitting down and putting the order together. So we are going with some different colors. We are not going to be just black and gold in terms of our apparel going forward. That will still be our base color. Do not get me wrong about that. That is our base color. That is our brand, our brand. But oh, I deleted the wrong thing. But I just, honestly, I'm kind of sick of just wearing black and gold stuff all the time. Our logo can sit. I have to go save that photo from the recycling bin. I think for sure I got something green, maybe a Kelly green. I think that looks good with our gold and black. Price is good. Once we get it, I can explain where we got it from, how we did it, if we liked it or not. We got some t-shirts as well. I'm excited about those also. We did this a couple years ago. I liked our stuff, don't get me wrong. It's just time to get something new, and I think we've lost a lot of stuff along the way. Our cars tend to eat things. I'm gonna keep this one because look, his hat's falling off, and I think that's funny. Yeah, the thing that we need to talk about going into next year is is there interest for is there interest for you to own some GX3 Media apparel? If we were to do some sort of apparel store with our apparel provider, is that something that people would be interested in? Even if it's little t-shirt stuff, and maybe it's only t-shirt stuff? I mean, what else could you put our logo on? Socks, Crocs. Why would we do socks? I don't like to wear socks, so I'm not gonna make you wear them. Um, that suggestion has been brought up to offer an apparel store. I'm on board. I'll tell you this right now. I love the idea of having a fan shirt. Look there, that I can tell Nora that she has photos of her, and actually it's her brother that's hitting. So good job, me. I'll try to make sure I send that to her. To have a like a fan shirt. I think that's what I would like to be able to offer is a fan shirt. And I believe that the best way to do it is to again, my plan is this number three fan. You're the number three fan of GX3 Media, see? Because of the three. Everybody wants to be a number one fan. Who wants to be a number three fan? I think that takes some real balls. Sorry, my brain's wiped out. I probably should just stop the stream and move on and finish this, but I'm going to stick with this until we get this game wrapped up, and this won't take too much longer. We're pretty quick on the draw here. Again, lugging that, so that 400, if you've seen me carry it, it's a big, heavy piece of equipment. It does a really nice job. Don't get me wrong. It's actually, I found a way to make it more versatile than what I've ever expected it to be. Um, it takes a little getting used to. I do miss certain photos because of it, because plays are too tight. Um, if you're 20 feet away, you're probably too close for that lens. So, like I said, I have to just be okay with giving up certain opportunities, and I've gotten used to that. It's also a little slower, so I don't get as many frames a second, so I need to work on my timing a little bit. However, what it also does is it doesn't pile up 30,000 frames that I would never do anything with other than delete. So this is all that I get for swinging. I get 2 frames, and most these are all after the actual swing. So the timing has to be good. If I want to get bat on ball, my timing has to be outstanding. I'm okay with that. I like the challenge. And I tried to shoot from center field. So this is from center field with the crop sensor turned on. So the 400 turns into like a 5 or 600 or some such thing. 450? I don't know. I forget exactly how the math plays out. This is a cool look because you never see this in baseball. Nobody pulls this off. I needed a sunny day. I needed a lot of things to go right. I am actually pretty happy with those just because they're just a little different. I believe now I'm shooting with a 100 to 500 because I got no, I was shooting with a 100 to 500 out in the outfield as well. Again, we've got different pitchers, so I'm trying to make sure I stockpile as many of those as possible. Why do we carry the different lenses? They all serve a purpose. It's like having a box of 24 crayons. Every kid, I remember every year at school, I wanted to be the kid with the most crayons. That was my status symbol, but each crayon serves a purpose. Just like here, each lens serves a purpose. They all have value of some sort. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Again, this is 100 to 500 because I'm trying to work my way out of the out of the ballpark so I can get to track. And I think that's our day, right? We cut 6 or 700 down to 338. Again, with that 400 millimeter lens, our save rate is probably, or our shot rate, about 50% of those are solid. Good job. So we got the baseball, softball, we got that. We've got Wani Walk softball. We've got this Wazika game, Wazika Pepin game. I've got Westby, West Salem softball. I think I had a thumbnail for this, so I better go through a couple of these just to uphold my end of the bargain. Look, there are photos from Monday's game between West Salem and Westby. The West game. TV guy brought a ladder. Look at that. Actually, Westby's softball field is set up really nicely. they should be hosting a sectional final every year, as far as I'm concerned. I can't think of a lot of fields that are nicer. I can think of a lot of fields that are a lot less nice. Westby's got just a really good venue, I think, for something like a sectional final softball game. I know I went through a few of these photos, but they weren't all loaded. So Logan shot this game. Logan is remarkable about getting bat on ball. I don't know how she does it. She has done it so many at such a higher clip than I ever have. She's had more of it in the past, even this year. She's had more this year than I've had in the last 10 years, I think. But anyways, like I said, my brain is a little toasted. I think we've ran this long enough. I got through a lot of stuff. We're feeling really good about our spot for the week. I'm glad that you guys could come, sit, watch. If you learn anything from this, great. If you need to learn something else, please let me know. I just want to make sure I kept practicing doing this thing. Every time I do it, I'm going to get better, or I'll get worse, I guess. I could do that too. But I don't know if I'm getting better unless somebody tells me or complains about the things that we're not doing well. So if you see some things that we're not doing well, please don't hesitate. Tell us that we suck at something. That's okay. I try to be pretty adamant about that. If we're going to be really good at stuff, we have to be criticized. We have to be torn down, maybe torn apart a little bit. That's the only way we're going to get better. If our audio sounds terrible, tell us. If my rambling is dumb, tell us. If you don't like certain bits of our content, tell us. Yeah. Be Well, I guess I'd ask to be somewhat polite, but you don't have to be. But give us solutions as well. I think that's probably maybe the other thing. Don't just tell us that we're wrong, but offer some solutions. I think I had somebody smart. I forget who it was. It said, "Don't just say that you're wrong, but also offer some solutions." And I think that's fair. That's fair. So I think Logan's seen Westby twice already. I've seen him once. We've seen Westby baseball and softball. I feel like an awful lot already at this point. I don't want to get too Westby heavy, or I don't want to get too heavy on any one team. So we have to find a way to dole out the coverage. Maybe a little, we just have to be aware. Baseball team might do pretty well in the coulee. So if that's the case, we need to see them in big games at the end of the year. Like I said, we just have to balance our coverage, and we have a lot of teams we still have to see yet. I'm excited to get away from our little Toma to Toma to Lacrosse, 10 miles, to Cashton Triangle that we do. I get why we do it. We do it because it's really close to home. But there are other schools out there that we need to see. Usually you need the ball to make the out. Okay. We'll take a look at those. I'm not going to make you guys sit through 600 more of those. Our live stream's gone a long time here. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Here's my live stream. 53 minutes, 54 minutes. Good. Nobody's watched this live. I appreciate that. Remember, we're doing our best. Let's stop where's my stop sharing button? Okay. So we're going to finish with this. I went through a number of photos. I talked while we did it. You saw some of the junk that nobody else will ever see again because we've deleted it, or it's going to get deleted. Hopefully you learn something and you kind of see our process. Sometimes it's kind of nice to have the white noise. Right now, me working and creating my own white noise is fine. Spring sports season is a bear. In the month of April alone, let's go here. I know that we've had a lot of canceled events. I'm not screen sharing. Why am I doing this? As it stands, I've got over 50 events. Logan's got a couple that I don't think I've seen. I maybe have moved some things someplace. 50 events in 22 days. Happy Earth Day, by the way. In just 20 days. I mean, that's over two a day. That's two a day, Monday through Sunday. All right. So if we take out our weekend days, 2, 4, 6, because we haven't had a single weekend yet, you're down to 16 or 15 or 14 days. Yeah, that's we're kicking along at a pretty good clip. Um, we are going to get backed up. We are going to have piles of photos we can't get through for a while. We try to do our best, but again, everything goes down the river when we get to May, and for me, I'm on the road from 8 or 9 in the morning because we have early morning golf, followed by early afternoon baseball or soccer or track meet because we have all these makeup games. So it's pretty easy for me to knock out 7 or 8 games in a day, but it's not easy for me to knock out shooting 7 or 8 games in a day and culling 7 or 8 games worth of photos. And that's just me. If we do it right, I could go hit 7 or 8 games in a day. I could organize or set up Logan's schedule so that she's hitting 4 or 5 in a day. That is upwards of if we did it right, we could hit 10, 12 events a day. Multiply that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 40 events. Yeah, nobody else is doing that but us. We are stupid. But also that's the media life that I've kind of pinned ourselves or made us known for. So, anyways, that was our late night photo flip. I guess it's our eighth one. We haven't done more than that, but that's still not bad. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you made it this far, great. Thanks for listening to our content. Like I said, please offer some criticism, share some things that we can fix and repair and make better, so that way this experience can be better for you. Keep you guys coming back. Thanks for being with us, mostly because I just got some work done there and there. Anyways, you guys have a great week. Let's see you. Let's see you out of the game. Come say hi to myself or Logan. If you see us at a game, say hi. Don't just whisper. Come say hi. I appreciate it. All right. If you're at a track meet, let us know. What events are you in? We'll come watch if we can. If you're at a baseball softball game, be focused on the baseball or softball game. But if you want to wave from center field, we'll find a way to make it work. Anyways, thanks for always supporting us. Come back next time. We'll share some more photos. We'll talk some more photo techniques. Hopefully you learn something from all of this. Remember, GX3 Media, we're on the Instagram, we're on the Facebook, we're on the X. Get after it. Find us, follow us, share us. Tell somebody about it. Send them a piece of mail through the mail about us. Anyways, you guys have a great day. We're going to end the stream. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. And end.